What is going on, guys, and welcome to Built. Behind me is the Datsun 620 we have so lovingly named the Fatsun. Now, for you guys that are new, the Fatsun is a custom chassis, custom wide body, custom everything car that we've been building for quite a while now. It's got an LS that sits about right here and right behind the front wheels. It's been widened about 14 inches, and we are in the process of building a custom kit for it. And today we're going to be finishing out kind of the body work on the rear fenders. So we started the rear fenders in the last Datsun episode and basically built these fenders out of a sheet and some filler and some resin. And if you want to see that, I'll link it up here. Today we're going to be finishing those out. Kind of like the rest of this stuff, we're going to be getting them all painted like in this black spray paint color and getting them ready to have parts pulled. So we're getting really close to start pulling parts for this thing. Once we get the fenders done, we'll have a spoiler video that's coming out in just a few days. And then we'll start pulling fiberglass parts to put on this car. We can get rid of all of this filler. If you're new here, you're gonna see me using a lot of techniques that maybe are not normal, maybe a little bit weird, and that's okay. These parts are not the final parts. They're just kind of a plug or a buck to make the final parts. And I am making this process up as I go, taking some tricks and tips that I've learned over the past few years with fiberglass and applying them and trying out a lot of new stuff. And today, we're gonna run into some snags. Anyway, it is a big sanding video. I'm gonna show you guys some techniques I tried. Some worked, some didn't. And we're gonna get these things smoothed out and ready to go. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to see the front and rear fenders in all of their glory in black paint. Very, very exciting stuff. Check it out. Oh, but before we get going, Patrick actually started this video for me. I was out of town for a couple of days, and so he came over and started sanding, and you get to experience the frustrations of learning bodywork for the very first time. Check it out.
So we got a bit of flaking right here, and it's just creating a bunch of divots in that surface. So you guys may not know this, Pat is not a car guy. I do computers. That's my thing. That's my hobby. I don't do cars. I just want to help Caleb, so. Okay. This is just not cool, man. See that as soon as I hit that, like I know it's coming off because I can already see that separation there. And that's just from a couple passes of the block. Oh, that is frustrating. I do not want to tear this up.
So Pat finished up his portion, and I came back to kind of look at what happened. And basically, the drywall putty just did not stick. Now, there's probably a lot of reasons for this. We just decided to keep moving forward. We sanded off all of it, and I put on some Bondo. So what you're looking at is me priming over that Bondo. It's actually a Bondo resin mix. I'll show you a little bit later in the video, and it worked out really, really great to kind of hold everything down and to fix a lot of our crimes. Now, the reason we're jumping to primer is because it's just a lot of filling and sanding and filling and sanding, and it was really boring to watch, and I wanted to save you guys from that. Now, this primer is not like a final prime coat. It's just used as a guide coat, so we use a block to block it down, and that's going to show us where all of our problems are. Speaking of problems, the other side is way worse. We got a fold in our blanket that we used to make this fender, and it made everything really, really difficult. On top of that, I couldn't get all of the drywall putty off, so I tried to save it, and well, I wasn't really able to. If you watch at the bottom of this fender while I'm sanding, you'll actually see the Bondo and drywall putty start to separate, and then this happened. So it's pretty frustrated, but it's something like this when your Bondo or whatever starts peeling off, it's best just to get all of the loose stuff off and restart. So I did. I reset, added a lot more Bondo, did a lot more sanding, and we finally had something that was worth kind of finishing out. Now what you're seeing here is called guide coating, and basically I'm using this primer to show me where my low spots are, show me where I still need a little bit more work, and then I'm going to make this new filler that I'm created, I guess, I heard about, is resin and Bondo mixed together. I don't know what this does long term. I don't know if it works on a car. You guys can comment below and tell me, but what it does for this mold making process, it gives me a really smooth, really strong, really flexible filler that I can use to kind of fill in the cracks. I don't have to worry about air bubbles. It smooths out really, really well, as you can see in the videos, and it just gives me something to kind of work down. On top of it being really flexible and smooth, it is super strong. So when you see me sand this, what I'm using is a power sander, like an orbital sander, and 40 grit sandpaper, and it still takes a long time to sand. But I'm really a big fan of this. I'm going to use this stuff some more in building because it just flattens out so easy. It's cheap to make, and it just works really, really well. All right, and there we go. This thing looks insane with the front and rear fenders done. I'm so stoked on it. I cannot believe it came out this good. Now, obviously, it's real dusty and real dirty in here. We're gonna be washing and wet sanding all of these pieces, so they are a little bit rough, but also they're super dusty, so we shouldn't do it all at once. We'll wet sand and wash all at one time. We'll do that in the next video, and we're gonna start prepping for pulling parts. So after we build the spoiler, which that video will come out in just a couple days. I'm actually working on it now. We'll build it out of metal, and then we're gonna come back and start pulling parts on all of these fenders and on the giant front lip. Once we have the parts made out of fiberglass kind of in their final form, we'll be able to rip all of this stuff off that we worked so hard on and replace it with the fiberglass stuff. And that will allow us to start to be able to flip the front end up again. It's gonna allow us to kind of keep working. Now, for you guys that are into automotive design and maybe you're concerned with the way this design looks, I don't know. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of vision for where we're going so you understand. The side, we've got this big scoop. I decided to ditch the bottom of that fender. So what you see painted black is the fender. Everything underneath is just fluff. It's just extra. It's gonna get cut away. The side skirt will kind of connect to the fender over there and create kind of a Murcielago style scoop. It's not in the render, but I think it'll look cool. It's one of those things that as I was building, it just made sense to do. So that's what we're gonna do. And then the back, we've got a fender and we're gonna be working on the back, but in order to get to like the back bumper diffuser area, we've got to pull the car forward. So I think before we go do the diffuser and everything on the rear, I'm going to go ahead and make the parts so that we can air the car up, roll it forward, air it back down, and then we can build the back parts. So it's a huge, huge milestone to have these things made, have these bucks made. It's going to be an even bigger one to make the parts, get them pulled, and then get them mounted on the truck. This thing's looking a little more complete every day. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing this thing finally come to life, finally turn into something. I think it looks really, really awesome. Now, for you guys that have been following me on Instagram, you know that I just got back from a trip in California where I drove a 911 with my dad all the way around California, met some awesome people, drove some incredible roads, and I'm working on that video now, so that will be coming out soon. We've also rearranged the shop. You'll notice the Porsche's right here. Me and Patrick spent like 3 days just cleaning, rearranging, and getting all the cars in here. So the MGB is in here now. We've got the Fatsun, we've got the Porsche, we've got the Turbo Mustang that we're building. Everything is in here in one roof, and we've got a lot of new tools and things to kind of help everything flow a lot better. And so far, it has been awesome. So we're gonna get back into high gear with content production. We had to kind of take a break to get all this stuff sorted And so we're back in it now, which is really exciting, which means we have this video coming out now. We've got the spoiler video coming out in just a few days. We've got a new MGB video coming out in just a few days, and we are working, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the engine block for the Mustang is right in front of the camera, and we are putting that together today as well. So we will be having a lot of content to kind of catch up. For you guys that follow the channel, you know that we've dialed it back the past like 2 weeks. We've only had like one video. That's because we've been kind of setting up to run all these projects, and I think we are finally there. So I'm very, very excited to be producing more content for you guys again. It feels good, it feels right, and this shop is feeling really, really awesome. All right, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. The Fatsun is looking like a Fatsun. The parts are holding up great, and I'm so excited to be able to move this thing again. I just want to see it rolling down the street, and we are getting closer and closer every single day. Thank you so much for watching. If you aren't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. We're building this wide, awesome car. We're building that MGB, the wide and awesome MGB. It's going to get a new engine soon too. You guys will figure out what that is in the next MG video. We're building this 911S, which I just got off the phone with a guy named William Knight, who knows a lot about 911s, and he told me how to get it running, so that's going to be happening soon. Thank goodness. And we are working on the Turbo Mustang, which hopefully, thanks to my buddy Ryan Massaro, will be getting put back together today. You guys are awesome. We got a lot going on. I got a lot of work to do. I'll see you in the next one.